All right, so moving on to lead actor, best actor awards.
Gary Oldman's in there for Darkest Hour. And look, I haven't seen Darkest Hour, but if you go and look at all of the roles that Gary Oldman has been in, he completely changes himself. Like you said, he's a chameleon.
Yeah.
Where he will change his mannerisms, he will change his voice. He very much changes the way that he looks to fit whatever role he's playing.
Yeah, he's awesome. We've got Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out.
And he did a really good job.
Oh man, he did a good job.
He really did.
He drove that movie very, very well.
And the part when he's sitting on the couch and she's doing her little mind trickery on him and his eyes are just open and he's just starting to cry.
Oh yeah.
It's like, how can you hold that pose for that long?
He's just telling the whole story with his face.
Yeah.
You know exactly what he's thinking, you know exactly what's going on by just what his face and his eyes are telling you. And
really
that,
impressive.
Yeah, that is, to me, that's the mark of a really, really great actor, that they can tell the story without even using words.
Right.
You know? Yeah, he's really great. And then Denzel Washington is up for Best Actor from Roman J. Israel Esquire.
Oh, see, I didn't see that one.
That one was really good.
Was it good?
It was
I
good.
need to pick it up.
It wasn't the movie I expected it to be, but I was entertained and I really enjoyed the ride that you're on in this movie with Roman J. Israel. He's an attorney and he's kind of been really altruistic.
Okay.
He's a public defender. So but he's really into helping people at his own expense. So he'll
Right.
really go above and beyond and sacrifice for people. And then
So
he
totally lawful good.
yes,
Hardcore
absolutely.
lawful good character.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.
With like the destitute lifestyle. Like he's lived in the same apartment for 20 or 30 years or something like that, like something crazy
Okay.
like that. But then he joins this big law firm and gets money. And it was so cool to see how money changed him so quickly. It was within a matter of weeks that
wow.
money just completely changed his whole life and he became a different person. But then he recognized what had happened to him and he kind of goes back to the way that he was before. So it's just like,
Interesting.
I mean, it was really, really cool.
Very cool. I have to
Yeah.
pick this up.
Yeah.
And Denzel Washington. I mean, he is a fantastic actor.
He was so good. I mean, you see the transformation in the way that he holds himself and like he shows that transformation so wonderfully. He was really great.
Interesting.
I actually hope that he gets it. I really hope that he gets Best Actor because he was awesome.
Pulled it off. Well, I'm going to
Yeah.
have to pick up Roman J. Israel Esquire. then.
Yeah, check it out. So, and then going into lead actresses, we have Sally Hawkins from The Shape of Water.
So I think this is the main character lady. And yeah, I think she did a decent job. She has to be deaf in it.
Oh,
so
that's
she's
interesting.
signing.
Oh, okay,
And
that's
what's
hard.
interesting now, I don't know a lot of ASL, but I know a little bit. And what she was signing was correct.
Well, that makes
Like
sense.
she's
Yeah, that
making
makes sense.
the real actual ASL signs,
Yeah.
which I thought is a great nod to doing things and making it
Sure.
realistic.
And then Frances McDormand from Three Billboards. I kind of talked about her already. I don't think her character did anything. She was just angry from the whole movie, and then it ends without there being any real resolution. And I was just kind of confused and like, okay, well, there goes 2 hours of my life. So, I mean, not that she didn't do that well, but I just didn't feel any real connection to that character. And she could have played it great. I have no idea. So I guess there's that.
So up next is Margot Robbie from I, Tonya. She's playing Tanya Harding.
Maybe I
I
haven't
saw
seen
the
the
trailer.
trailer. Okay.
I watched that, and it looked interesting. And
I know Sebastian Stan is up for a supporting role. Yeah, I mean, I like Margot Robbie. I think she's done some really good stuff. I liked her in Tarzan, even though I didn't like Tarzan. What else? I mean,
but that's always a sign of a good actress, right?
yeah, right.
That even though the entire rest of the movie is
Yeah.
a steaming pile, you at least
Yeah.
loved what they were doing.
Yeah, and then you have, wow,
Saoirse Ronan, I think.
yeah, Miss Ronan from Lady Bird. I haven't seen Lady Bird. I've heard good things about it, though. I mean, it looked like a teenager movie to me.
Oh, that's the one that I was thinking of
Okay.
before. The lady that seems always angry.
But I guess that one was, I guess that was a pleasant surprise that it wasn't what people were expecting. I mean, and that makes a degree of sense with it being so highly nominated and awarded already.
Right.
That it's not exactly what you think. And then Meryl Streep for The Post.
Of course. She has, what, like 8 Oscars now?
I don't actually know, but it's a lot. Yeah, and she's great. I wanted to see The Post really badly. I'm surprised that Tom Hanks isn't up on here, just because he's a big-name guy. Right. But again, I haven't seen The Post, so I can't say, oh, well, this is
how
why.
Big
or
role he had or anything like that.
So...
Cool. All right, so we have Willem Dafoe in The Florida Project for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah.
Our first nominee.
I didn't see The Florida Project. I didn't even hear about that one. I'm surprised. I'm surprised to see so many movies on here that I never even heard about.
Yeah. And then you have Woody Harrelson, which would be in 3 Billboards.
Yeah,
right?
He was good. He was a really interesting character, and then even though he wasn't physically in the whole movie, he was a presence throughout the movie, and I think that's why he's on this list for Best Supporting Actor, because he was still a really strong presence. You have Richard Jenkins for The Shape of Water, you have Christopher Plummer, All the Money in the World, and then you have Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards. Like I said, Sam Rockwell's character went through the biggest arc. He was just this terrible, aggressive douchebag cop that was known to have tortured some black guy that they had in custody.
Oof.
And that I don't know, he's like everything bad in a cop. You know what I mean? He thinks that he is the law, and he beats up a guy. He beats a guy with his gun and throws the dude out a 2nd-story window and then just like walks away. And like he was everything terrible.
Wow.
But then he had this real like revelatory moment, this big shift in his character, and you can see that he's trying to be better. And he ends in a different place than where he started, and so I was really pleasantly surprised with his character, and I thought that Sam Rockwell did a great job, and I'm really pulling for him. I thought that he did a really, really good job.
Interesting. Cool.
First one on the list for supporting actress. Yeah, we have Mary J. Blige for Mudbound, and Mudbound for me was just really forgettable. It was a Netflix movie, 1940s, and it was soldiers getting back from the war. Getting back from Europe and having to adjust now to life in the States. Oh, okay. And it's not, and what they come home to is not what they left from, I guess, in a way. And so it sounds like an interesting premise. A lot of this, I don't know where a lot of the story takes place. Like, I'm watching the movie and I'm confused by a lot of the settings.
Interesting.
I didn't feel any big connection to the father character. They had some pretty well-known actors in it, but I just didn't really feel a big connection to any of them. I just thought it was really, really forgettable and just kind of bleh.
And so with this, I take it that, because it sounds like with that kind of a movie, you really have an opportunity to kind of bring out the topics of post-traumatic stress disorder and kind of mental health issues or anything.
Which they kind of did because one of the characters just really turns to alcohol, and he's drinking all the time, and so you kind of get that. And then so they're from 2 families. They both live on the same ranch or the same farm or something like that down in the South. And there's a black family that lives in like a shack on the farmland, and then there's a white family that also lives in a shack on the farmland. And so the 2 sons that went to war kind of become friends. And that's interesting. Like I said, the movie was kind of like one level sort of boring, and then it goes from 0 to 100 really fast. Where there's a lynch mob that's come after the son, and they've beat him into unconsciousness and strung him up naked in a barn, and then forced the other son to decide if they're going to cut out his tongue, his eyes, or his deal. And the son, the other son has to decide what's going to happen to this guy, and it's just like, wait, what is happening? What is going on right now? This just
like comes out of nowhere. Then there's no build up. There's no understanding.
Maybe for some people, but I got just absolutely blindsided by this, and then the movie just kind of ends.
Well, I think that's the one that we have the most to talk about in this category.
Definitely, yeah. So that's just not Mary J. Blige. That's just Mudbound.
Just Mudbound in general, right?
As a whole. So then you have Allison Janney from I, Tonya, Leslie Manville from Phantom Thread, Laurie Metcalf from Lady Bird, Octavia Spencer from The Shape of Water. I really like Octavia Spencer. She was really good in that Numbers movie.
And she does a really good job in this too.
Okay, cool.
Like she's the one that's kind of looking out for the main character and trying to like lets her cut in front of her so that she can clock in on time.
Oh, okay.
Things like that. So she does a really good support role in this.
Cool, yeah. Octavia Spencer, I think that she's a real special lady. I like her a lot. And then for Best Director, we have Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk.
Oh, yeah.
You could tell it was a Christopher Nolan movie. Definitely. I mean, there was his signature stamp on that.
Right.
And he, I mean, of course, he's very well known. And then you have Jordan Peele for Get Out. I could not believe that Jordan Peele wrote and directed this movie.
Right.
Because I just know him with Keegan-Michael Key and all of the great stuff that they do. I think they're hilarious. I love them.
Right.
But the fact that he wrote and directed such a contrasting genre and a solid story, and
it
was
not
really
what
well
you would
made.
Expect from him.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
exactly.
He's a comedian by heart. That's kind of how they got started with everything.
Mm-hmm. Then you have Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird. She's the only female director that's nominated this year, and I've heard a lot about that. So that's a big talking point.
Well, I think that it's fantastic that we have some representation there.
Sure. And like I said, I didn't see Lady Bird, but I've heard really great things about it. So well done. Good job. And then Paul Thomas Anderson for Phantom Thread. And like we mentioned, Guillermo del Toro for The Shape of Water.
Right. It's kind of funny. I think that he's on a water kick lately. Because
what else did he do?
I remember when he did Pacific Rim.
Oh.
He had so many conversations with the animators about how the water needed to feel and move. And he even went so far as to say that the water was a character in the movie.
I can see that. In something like Pacific Rim, I can see how the water needs to be a character because it played such a
and I think he did a
such an
fantastic
instrumental
job
role. Yeah.
Conveying that.
Wow.
But it's funny just to
he's on a water kick, yeah,
this.
sure.
He's on a water kick.
And he's probably he's doing Pacific Rim 2 as well, right? Yeah, so there you go.
I believe so, yeah. Right, so our next category is going to be the animated features.
I've only seen 2 of these.
I know a little bit about a few of them.
Okay.
But I think I've only actually watched one.
Yeah, so the first one we've got is The Boss Baby.
And that's the one that I've seen.
I've seen The Boss Baby. It's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
It's a little, it's like animated Baby Geniuses, but just with no Christopher Lloyd.
Nice. But yeah, there's no surprise here. There's nothing that I would say is particularly fresh out of it.
No.
It is just exactly what you think it's going to be on the cover. It does what it says on the tin.
Yeah. So good job there. I think that Coco is going to win.
I think so too.
And I think Coco deserves to win. I haven't seen all of them, so it's really hard to say, but I did watch Coco. And good. I thought it was so good.
Oh, good. I've heard that they took a lot of time trying to educate people on Dia de los Muertos and kind of how that fits in the cultural context of everything.
I can attest to that. I didn't know anything about it outside of maybe the chase scene in Spectre. The opening chase scene where they're running through the parade. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about it because I don't have a lot of exposure to that culture. So it actually was really cool to me to see that. I love the animation style. I love that as time goes on, you could see that his hands were bones, but you could still see the outline of his fingers. And he mentions a couple times, Miguel mentions a couple times in the movie that he has a dimple on this side and not on this side. This side, not this side. And you can see it through the whole movie. You can always see the one dimple that he has on this side. They don't just do it when he points it out. It's consistent through the whole film.
Oh, that's really cool. See, I like that level attention to detail, right?
And then a lot of the skeleton characters, they can do funny things with their bones. Like they can throw their arm but still control it and catch stuff. Or they jump and they hit the ground and fall apart and just kind of reconstitute. And there were just some really, really fun elements. I thought that the colors were really, really cool in Coco. And then I was a really big fan of the great-great-grandmother's spirit animal that was like this giant winged, instead of it was kind of like a griffin, but it was like a panther with an eagle lower half, and then big wings and big ram horns. I want that to be my spirit animal. That thing was freaking bad A. It looked
Wow.
so sweet, and it was like all really neon, multicolored.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Trying
Like,
to play off of that whole deal.
yeah, the whole
the sugar skull style.
right. And if you put that under a black light, that's what that would have looked like. It
That's
was
awesome.
really, really cool. So they had a lot of really cool visual stuff. I really got the connection between the characters, and the different family members had their perspectives that really came through very clearly. They had some really good twists. I thought Ferdinand looked really good as well.
So here's my thing with Ferdinand.
Okay.
That confused me.
All right.
The commercial that I saw for it had all of the actors talking about Ferdinand, but they never actually showed what it was. So I'm like, what is this? Is this a movie? They're like, I love Ferdinand. I love Ferdinand. I love Ferdinand. You know, and I'm, what is this? I have no idea. And then you get to the very end, and you never find out. It wasn't until like a week later that I saw an advertisement when we were at the movies for, you know, it was like a bowl and this little girl, and then it says Ferdinand on it. I'm like, oh,
It's about a bowl.
that was Ferdinand. Okay. But it has Flula in it, so I need to see it.
Flula. Oh my gosh, I love that guy. He's so funny. I've heard a lot about Loving Vincent.
Okay.
That people submitted paintings, or like every frame was a hand painted cell.
Wow. Really?
In
That's
the style,
a lot of work.
I know, in the style of Vincent van Gogh.
Whoa.
Yeah, really, really intense, really artsy, really kind of like a,
Holy
I mean, really unprecedented. Disney
Yeah.
used to do a lot of hand drawn, but not hand painted.
Yeah.
And this was hand painted in Vincent's style, and it was, I mean, it looked really, really cool. I really want to watch that. I want to. I'll try before the Oscars happen. I haven't yet, but that one looked really, really neat to me.
Interesting.
Yeah, really kind of groundbreaking.
All right, our next category is cinematography.
Yeah.
And the first nominee for this is Blade Runner 2049.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I saw this movie, and I understand why this is on here, but I really didn't love Blade Runner as a movie. It just really didn't work.
Well, that's too bad.
So the part that they have here for the cinematography, I really like. So it's set kind of in a dystopian future, right?
Right.
But they have embraced the images as holograms thing in this. So there's actually a fight scene between Harrison Ford and Ryan Gosling that is them fighting in what is essentially Vegas. And there's an Elvis show going on in the middle of the fight.
What?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but
That's cool.
it's entertaining. And so that's why I think that the cinematography piece is here, because they really were able to sell this alternate dystopian future
Okay.
really well.
Cool.
I didn't love the rest of the movie. It was kind of but for that part, I think that they kind of deserved to be in this spot.
Our next category is visual effects, and Blade Runner 2049 is in that. I mean,
They deserve it.
Yeah.
It was pretty well done.
Cool. And then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is on that for visual effects. That movie was really exciting, really fun. The visuals were good. We've talked a little bit about other aspects of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, like the humor kind of being strangely
A little bit
timed
off,
and
yeah.
things like that. So, but visually it's really, really great.
Yeah, I forgot that came out in 2017.
Yeah, it
That's
seems like a
really
long time ago,
long time
right?
ago.
So,
That and Kong Skull Island. I actually did get to see this one too. For visual effects, yeah, you've got a giant monkey that fights other stuff.
Cool.
I mean, it's
Cool.
I wouldn't say that it was quite on par with, say, Guardians of the Galaxy or even the Last Jedi's
All right.
effects,
All right.
which is the next nominee that we
Yeah.
have here.
Mm-hmm.
But they did a decent job conveying emotions with the giant monkey and things like that. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
nice. Yeah, so Star Wars The Last Jedi is on for visual effects, which we've talked about before in our Last Jedi episode. But, of course, the thing that comes to mind is when they use the light
Yes.
speed to destroy Snoke's capital
That
ship.
is why this is on this list.
Yeah.
And I actually honestly hope that it wins just for that moment.
That would be
because
really cool.
That's one of the few times that just the world stopped. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then we have War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yep. And I actually just saw this one. I think that they are in here because of all of the monkeys, all of the apes that are in it.
Okay.
They did a fantastic job. To the point where I actually wonder if they had people with actual fursuits on in some of the parts, because all of the hair looks so detailed on it. And so you kind of end up second guessing yourself, like, is this CGI or is this not? And when you can do that, then I'm reasonably impressed.
I think that'll wrap up our Oscar talk section. Next, we're going to get into Betrayal at House on the Hill. Is that what it's called?
Yep, that's what it's called.
Betrayal at House on the Hill. It's a card game? Board game?
It's a board game.
It's a board game. So we're switching up our format a little bit this week. We're not doing a video game. We're going to play a board game. So we're going to get that set up, and we'll be right back.